The universe is like the snow you see in a movie. Is it snow? Yes. Is it snow? No. Just pixels on the screen. It's not really cold, but it's still snow. Have you ever watched a river flowing? It moves constantly, yet it is always the same river. This is kind of like consciousness, always flowing, always changing, yet always the same. But you get caught up trying to grab water, hold it, and say, "This is me." Can you grab a river? The moment you try to catch it, it has already changed. The moment you point to the water and say, "I am this," that water is gone. It has been replaced by new and fresh flowing water. You see, in the beginning of the journey, it happened to something extraordinary. It feels like the nectar of gods, like you finally found yourself. But this is just a station along the way. This is a topic I usually don't address much because most have yet to reach this level of understanding. And it's usually too much if you're not there yet. But of course, I've mentioned it in my autobiography, and I'm mentioning it here again because it's in the third phase of the Tree of Liberation teachings. You see, we live our entire lives believing in things, but they are not exactly like they seem. For example, this chair I'm sitting on, we use it as a chair, but where is the shareness in it? Is it in the legs? Is it in the seat? Is it in the backrest? Is it in the materials used to produce it? If I remove one of the legs, one of the metal legs, is it still a chair? If I remove the backrest, at what exact point does it stop being a chair and just become a collection of pieces? Without these pieces, there is no chair. But what we designate as a chair is not the totality of these pieces. So the chair is neither the totality of its parts, but not apart from them either. But you might say, the chair is real, I can sit on it. Yes, you can sit on it. I can sit on it. But that doesn't make it real in the way you think it is. It is functional, yes, but inherently empty. Is this a chair? Yes? No? What makes it a chair? Can I sit on it? Can you sit on it? Is it a kid's toy? Is the size of a chair what makes a chair? These are great questions for contemplation. So, this chair, what is it? It is empty of being anything. There is no inherent chairness in either of the parts or the chair. In dependence on the collection of these parts, the mind conceives and designates chair. Conventionally, it's perfectly fine. But truthfully, ultimately, really looking, there was never a chair anywhere. It's just a conceptual designation. Just like the reflection in the mirror, it works perfectly well for combing your hair, but try to grab that reflection. Just like a rainbow arcing through the mist, though you can point to it, take a photo, describe its colors in details, try to find where it truly exists. Between the sunlight and the raindrops, where does the rainbow actually dwell? Yet its appearance is undeniable. Now, in the typical nondual teachings, one sees the chair as a modulation of pure awareness. This is because perceptions are not different from their knowing. If the knowing faculty is awareness, then how can the chair be anything other than awareness? So although it is seen as not inherently existing, it is said that the chair exists as awareness. Awareness is therefore its essence. However, what is often missed is that this is also a conceptual designation because it reifies awareness. Instead of realizing that it's just empty awareness without it being a self or a subject, it is made a self or a subject. And thus, a slight framework of subtle duality remains, or non-dual duality as I call it in the Tree of Liberation teachings. Imagine a frameless mirror. When you look at that mirror, you see your face. But you know that the mirror doesn't actually have a face, right? It's just a reflection. The reflection is one with the mirror. Yes, it is. They're not separate. But could you say that the reflection is a modulation of the mirror? Can you even differentiate between both? Can you see where the reflection stops being reflection and the frameless mirror begins? Can the mirror be said to exist without reflections? Does that even make sense? If you remove reflections, or if the mirror cannot mirror anything, do you have a mirror? Just like these reflections need the mirror to exist, Doesn't the mirror also depend on reflections to be a mirror? Understanding this, you understand that the mirror is empty because its existence as a mirror depends on reflections. Otherwise, it's not a mirror. You could say that the mirror stays the same regardless of the type of reflections and is unaffected by them. But if you understand that the mirror is not different from its reflections, then why would there be a need to separate them and subsume appearances onto a mirror? Why would you divide reality into a duality of inherently existing in changing awareness and transient appearances which are made of awareness? When you create a self out of the mirror, it is reified as awareness. That becomes your being. But when you understand that the mirror is just reflectiveness, the power to reflect, and that both appearances and reflectiveness are the same reality because you cannot ultimately differentiate them, then you stop reifying the mirror and you become totally groundless. Reflectiveness is seen as empty. It only stays as an unchanging ground if you give it inherent existence apart from the reflections by creating a subtle distinction between both. The reflection trying to find the mirror trying to be a mirror without any reflection. It's like trying to bite your own teeth. You can do it, but you can't do it. There is knowing, but it is empty of inherent existence. Now, what if I told you that any ordinary moment already contains everything? Not some transcendental state, not in some cosmic consciousness, but right here in the sound of my voice, in the white and green of these plants next to me, in your breathing, in the thoughts passing through your mind, or in their absence. A flower is liberation. Its fragrance has always been non-dual. Its texture has always been the truth. Things such as samadhi make no sense anymore because it implies we are in duality and we need to unify it. No, reality has always been non-dual. Manifestation has always been non-dual. Manifestation is a celebration, not a dimension to escape from. But, you might say, I've heard we must go beyond thoughts, beyond the mind. And that's true, and you will. That's why I laid the path of the tree of liberation in the way that it is done. But eventually, you will come back to the marketplace, and you will find extraordinariness in the ordinary. Of course, the mind may say, no, this cannot be that simple. And you're right, it's even simpler than that. Without the need for self-reference, without the need for transcendence, without the need for any ground, what is there? Reality is empty of ground, utterly groundless, utterly conceptless, beyond the need of eternity, beyond ephemerality, beyond permanence and impermanence. And this may be the greatest revolution possible, the revolution of suchness. When there is no subjectivity, not just in terms of not having an egoic self, but not even needing to have an ultimate self, reality is utterly gapless, unwaveringly intimate. How can there be any gap between a subject and an object if there is neither? Between the power to reflect and reflections, how can we talk about manifestation being a modulation of pure awareness if there is no background or foreground and it's purely non-dual? Reality is just reality, being itself, self-revealing, vividly unfolding. Manifestation is alive, purely non-dual. Senses lose their sense status and are naturally luminous, as if this display of transiency is just this empty self-cognizant show without the need to reify it into a background knower or universal witness, ultimately without any subject or object. Like frost patterns on a winter window, seemingly so detailed, so real, yet dissolving at the first touch of warmth. Like the play of moonlight on rippling water, its silvery shimmer appears so distinct, so real, yet try to grasp even one moonbeam and your hands come up empty. The entire display is neither the moon nor the water, yet inseparable from both. Like a mirage shimmering on a hot road. From a distance, the water seems absolutely real. Oh, how thirsty you get. Yet as you come closer, its true nature is revealed, neither existent nor non-existent, but empty of inherent reality, while still appearing vividly. like the space inside a crystal, which seems to hold solid light, yet cannot be found when the crystal is broken. All appearances arise interdependently, and their essence is as unfindable as it is luminous. Ultimately unfindable, yet undeniably present, so is reality.